I don't know how many people actually follow us on Instagram, but if they have, they will have seen that there's a reason why we've missed an episode.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have synced up.
Yeah, in the worst way possible.
In the worst way possible. So our PMS at the same time is not fun. And trying to keep motivated during that is equally not as fun.
Not fun. And like, to kind of break the stigma around PMS and ADHD, it's shit. And we've both just not been in the mood, and we would rather not record when we're both not feeling it.
No, there's no point recording and it's just going to be shit and doing it for the sake of it. So we'd rather wait and wait until we're both in a good headspace and it will be a good episode for you guys, hopefully. So,
and we're a bit tipsy, and that's us just being a bit
It's a bit sunny outside.
Had a few drinks after work.
It's the first day of summer here in the UK. We've had a few drinks. So hopefully, get us flowing, get us an even better episode.
Yeah.
And you know what? What a better way to talk about ADHD and addiction.
Yeah. Genuinely. So, I don't know, Megan, what is your not an addiction at the moment?
It is a tricky one because I constantly go through phases of not an addiction. Well, basically just hyperfixations, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm really into DIY at the moment.
You are into DIY. If anyone's watching on YouTube, I feel like you need to just get the knuckles out.
You can't really see them. You can't see them. I look like I have been in a bare knuckle, like fisticuffs, like boxing match of some sort. Yeah, I'm getting into the power tools and DIY and think I can do everything. And I've recently put a shed together and I've completely messed my knuckles up.
Yeah.
But gives me street cred because
everyone thinks you're really hard.
Everyone thinks I'm really hard and I'm unboxing everyone on the street. Yeah. So I
haven't seen the shed yet, though.
I've still got some bits. The shed is up. The garden needs
How
cleaning.
long did it take you, Megan, to build the shed? Also, she's done this on her own.
Oh, which is pretty... No, I have to give Matt credit. Okay. I've done 4 hours with Matt. I've done 6 hours by myself.
And what does it entail, the shed build?
It is pure galvanized steel.
Steel?
Steel.
It's a steel
It's
shed?
metal. That's how I've cut myself in my hand.
I thought it was like a wooden. I thought it was a wooden shed.
No, it's steel, and so it's like putting in these sheet panels of metal. And I was doing it, and I literally looked down, and there was blood all down my top. God. And I was like, where the fuck has that come from? It was me. I don't know how I got it, but yeah, I cut my elbow and my hand, but... You know, you're not a true handyman if you are. I literally put blood, sweat, and tears into this shed.
Yeah, and you were literally like sawing a hole into a desk the other day.
Oh yeah, I sawed a hole into a cabinet the other day because I have a cabinet which is where the cats have their litter tray in.
Yeah.
But I wanted a new cabinet which had more storage but didn't have a hole in the side, so I had to saw. But this is my point of I need to buy more power tools, because if I had power tools, then it wouldn't have taken like 3 hours to cut a hole into the side, because I was literally using a manual. I was using my drill and trying to cut holes out with like a fucking bread knife.
Look, I really feel like we need to insert some pictures here. We always say we're going to insert pictures. We need to remember to insert pictures of this and of your shed.
Of my shed and the hole in the side of the cabinet. So I will do that. I will do that because Emily is going to Morocco. And so I'll put the photos in.
Yeah,
anyway,
I can see the editing.
Anyway, what is your addiction? Not an addiction.
Oh, look, right. I was thinking about this and I was like, oh, I don't want to be a basic white girl, but I think I'm going to be a basic white girl saying this. But it's actually linked to ADHD. So when I started ADHD medication, they told me that I couldn't drink coffee, and the reality is I probably can drink coffee, but
I mean, you can. You probably will just have the shits and feel really jittery.
And just feel really jittery. And I was like, I actually don't want that. So I started drinking matcha, which at first, honestly, I didn't enjoy it, and I've come to enjoy it.
Tastes like grass at the start.
It does, but I have honey in mine.
Do you know, apparently matcha is a way better caffeine for you
because
it's a extended release caffeine.
Yeah, and it's got L-theanine in it, which is really good for you. And I've been reading up on it. But anyway, It's basically just another addiction from a previous addiction. So I can't drink coffee, so I've just gone on to another form of caffeine. So yeah, it's matcha. And the problem with matcha is it's more expensive than coffee. So it's not great for the bank balance, actually.
R.I.P. to
Yeah.
bank balance.
So anyway, that's mine, but it is very basic white girl.
Oh, matcha and
Pilates. I am a matcha and Pilates girly. I never thought I would be. Yeah, so
yeah, I think just also before we get into it, obviously, quick disclaimer. Yes, we both have ADHD and we have a little bit of an understanding of ADHD and addiction.
Yeah,
but we're not medical professionals. We're not doctors. We're not experts.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about this purely from our own experience and family, friends' experience and things like that. So do not take what we say as
gospel.
We're not medical professionals. Do not take it completely as it is, if you do need medical support, seek that guidance where you need it. But
yeah, I think it's a really important topic though, because as ADHD individuals, we seek dopamine. So naturally we are prone to addiction. And addiction can come in so many forms. I think we think of addiction as a drug addiction, like heroin addicts, cocaine addicts.
Whenever you say addict, you automatically think of like train spotting and like someone with a needle in their arm. But there are so many different forms of addiction. And it's like, yes, you might not be addicted to heroin, but
you can be addicted to things.
You can be addicted to many things.
Yeah. What do you think's an addiction that you have that aren't drugs, but is something that you technically are addicted to?
I think I've had many different addictions in my life, but I would say, probably my biggest one. And look, I don't like to speak about it that much because I think there's a lot, surrounding it, and I feel like I'm out of that phase of my life. But from the age of like 11, maybe to the age of like 24, 25, self-harm was a really, really big thing for me. And obviously, like, not to get into like the really deep stuff super early on and trigger warnings and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, that was the biggest thing for me, and I didn't really understand why it was that I was doing it. Obviously it was one of those things that I started doing when I was younger because I didn't understand how to process all these massive emotions that I was feeling. And it started off, doing it because I was upset and I didn't know how to process the emotions. But then it became something that I would do not just because I was sad. It'd be something because I was bored, because it was a routine. I'd come home from school every single day and I'd just do it because that was what I had done. And it was almost, it was like that adrenaline seeking, that dopamine. And like, it sounds silly to say, you're hurting yourself because you need that hit. And I can't fully explain it, but it's still something to this day. Like, obviously I haven't self-harmed in years, but it's still something that there's always a trigger. And I try to explain it to someone as if, like, imagine you are an alcoholic and you're sitting in a pub and you're watching someone else drinking a beer and you're sat there thinking, I could be doing that. And it's like, there's no things in my life that make me so upset that I think I should do it. But there are so many times in my life when I feel a little bit upset, or, someone's speaking about it. Like, we work in children's mental health services, like, so I'm constantly hearing about people doing it and things like that. And so there's constantly a thought of, I could do it if I wanted to. But it's about trying to have that restraint. And I think I will always have that in the back of my mind because I think growing up, I always dealt with my emotions through that. And it became an addiction. It became a way of dealing with my emotions, my lack of dopamine and things like that. And I think probably one of my biggest turning points was when I got diagnosed with ADHD. And I remember speaking to my psychiatrist and telling him, I've been self-harming since I was 11 years old. It's been something that I have really struggled with. And he was like, like 70% of girls with ADHD self-harm. And I was like, putting the two together, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because it was, for me, there was so many emotions going on in my brain. I couldn't figure out how to pick one to feel. I couldn't understand why I was feeling this way, why everything was so dramatic and so overwhelming. And so the only way I could filter it and focus on one thing was by hurting myself, because, you know, for a brain that there's so much chaos going on, pain is the one thing that you can physically see. It's tangible. And so it was a way of being able to understand my pain and be able to see a tangible representation of my pain in itself. And so, yeah, it's weird to think of as an addiction of hurting yourself, because it's not like a typical thing. But yeah, I would probably say that's my addiction that I've struggled with, like, throughout my whole life since I started self-harming from I was 11. And, you know, I haven't in the past couple of years, but it's still, I would say, every single day something that is always in the back of my mind of thinking, oh, I could do it, and then trying to convince myself not to.
It's interesting because even though me and Megan have been friends for so long, the way that you said that to me, communicated that, really resonated with me from my own experience, which is actually really different, but exactly the same in the way that I think I mentioned before on an episode that I had an eating disorder, but my eating disorder started from exercise addiction. And it's the same thing. I started exercising. I was like, oh my God, it's dopamine. It's like you said, runner's high. Started running and I was like, oh my God, I'm addicted to this feeling, because ultimately my brain lacks dopamine. So I was chasing that high. And for you, it's pain that you're seeing. For me, it was control, which then led to an eating disorder, because then it's like I can see the weight on the scales drop down, and that's controlling the chaos in my mind.
Yeah.
And it absolutely was an addiction. I was so addicted to running. I was running like 2 10Ks a day at one point, and in the end went into CAM services and was like told that I couldn't run. And when I tell you, like, that was the most devastating moment for me when someone said, you cannot run again until you're better. And I was like, what do you mean you can't run again? Because I basically used running to, like, that was basically a drug for me, because I got the same feeling. And that's,
you get the high
for
from
you,
it.
it's a high. And it's interesting because, to be honest, Megan, I'd never really understood self-harm, and I do understand it, but it's when you've never done it. It's like when you think, oh, how can someone get addicted to running when you hate running? It's only when you actually hear your experience and you're like, I get it, because it's your way of searching for some form of relief. That is actually what it is. It's relief. When you harm yourself, when you go out for that run, and when you're someone with ADHD and you have that addictive personality, it's a relief. And it's that feeling that you get after it.
It's a way of control, really.
It is all control.
Like, it is control, is because for me, when I think of it, when I used to do it, it'd be like there are so many feelings and emotions and everything going through my brain. And the only way to control everything that was going on in my brain was to self-harm.
It like mutes your brain.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
because it's like, take the attention off of this one thing and do something else.
Yeah.
And then that's all you can think about.
Absolutely.
Is doing that one thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, you are addicted to it. You are constantly trying to seek this dopamine.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether it's self-harm, whether it's exercise, whether it's, you know, restricting your eating, whether it's nicotine, alcohol, drugs,
whatever,
you know, they're all part of the same thing. And I read this study about how actually the biggest risk for addiction is undiagnosed, unmedicated ADHD people. Because there's this argument, you know, people say, oh, I don't want to go on ADHD medication because I'm scared I'm going to be addicted to it, because I'm taking a drug, I'm going to be addicted to it and I'm going to be relying on it. Actually, you're more at risk of getting addiction
because you have ADHD.
Because you have ADHD.
And it's unmedicated.
Rather than being on the medication, because you are naturally just going to find ways to self-medicate yourself. You are going to find any avenue possible to be able to find dopamine. And I have a very close family member. I'm not going to disclose who it is because I don't think they'd want me to speak about it, but they have struggled with an addiction to painkillers, like literally for as long as I have been alive, have been addicted to opioid painkillers, and they have only just started realizing that they have ADHD, and they are so afraid of being diagnosed with ADHD and having to go on ADHD medication because they had tried ADHD medication and said that it had made them feel exactly the same way that the painkillers did. And I have been trying so hard to tell them, the reason that you have, you were on the painkillers and you were addicted to them because you were self-medicating, and the ADHD medication might feel the same as when you were taking the painkillers because you were just trying to regulate your dopamine. You were trying to calm the chaos in your mind. But that's the hard thing about addiction, right? I think especially when you come out the other side of addiction, you are so afraid of getting into something that is similar to what you were into before.
Completely. I mean, when I did the marathon a few years ago, and it was like a big thing for me to actually do something that was triggering that part of my brain where it's like, oh, I'm actually doing the one thing that nearly killed me again. But it was like, no, I did it, and I'm like, oh, wait, it was actually fine. But it's understandable. Like, if it's similar, it triggers that part of your brain. You think, I don't know if I can do that again. I think we spoke about some really deep things there. So, obviously, disclaimer, and we have spoke about some quite triggering things there, but there's some funnier things that you can be addicted to. And I have one, which I know is mine.
Yeah.
But you've mentioned DIY, but is there anything that's like a funny thing that you're addicted to as someone with ADHD? I mean, mine's not really funny, but it's like, it's probably not great, but it's like, it's a bit more normal.
I do genuinely just like impulsively buying things.
Yeah, this was mine.
Like, I think like impulsively buying things. And like my impulsive buying, right, like I've got notes here, right, of like things that are impulsive buying, which are like, wine, a vape, 4 a.m. Shein order, all of this stuff. My impulsive buying is like literally the most random stuff ever.
Yeah.
And it is more of like, I need to completely reinvent myself and get a new hobby. So right now, like my thing is like DIY. I need more power tools. And so I'm constantly searching Facebook Marketplace for more power tools. And, I saw a TikTok the other day, the new Audi middle aisle is power tools. All over that. Can't wait to go to Audi.
Audi middle aisle is the fucking best, by the way.
Fucking Audi middle aisle is ADHD in a shopping. If you could describe ADHD.
It's so deep. You've got like biscuits on one side, and then you've got a fucking tent on the other side. It's like
I saw a video of like an Audi, a fucking car tent. It's like, I need that car tent. I need it right now.
We do need a car tent.
Last year, right? Camping stuff. I've bought everything.
Yeah, this is what I mean. You can have a tent, and then the next hour you've got some chocolates. So it's so random.
I actually think Audi is an ADHD ally.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to.
Maybe they know their target customer
on the ADHD because the middle aisle is the most ADHD thing anyway. So. Yeah,
but impulsive buying, I mean, it's ruined my life. Like, we all know, if you've been listening to these episodes, I paid for a $3,000 Pilates teacher training course, and now I need to rent a reformer to actually do my exam because I've already applied for an extension. And I'm like, why did I do that? But you've actually hit the nail on the head. It always feels like you're reinventing your life. It's like, oh, I've got this new hobby and I'm going to spend all this money on impulse buying. It's when you buy like a new outfit and you think, oh my God, I feel great. It's a novelty thing. But then you're always on to the next thing. And I think for me, it's definitely shopping is an addiction.
It definitely is. It's like me and my Nintendo Switch ban. Bought 3 or 4 Nintendo Switches within a year, sold them all. Yeah. I'm not allowed to buy any more Nintendo Switches. I still want to buy another Nintendo Switch.
You'll get bored.
I'll probably get one at some point.
But you will get bored.
But it's like, the fucking randomest shit. I went through a sourdough phase.
Yeah, it's just random. I feel like we don't appreciate how difficult that is though for an ADHD person, because it's like, oh, it's funny, like they're onto this new thing, but it's actually like it becomes your whole world.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, you just lose interest. You're not addicted to it anymore, or your hyperfixation ends, and then you're on to the next thing. But you've invested all this time into it.
Do you know what the thing
and
is?
money.
Well,
You invest so much time and money.
Time and money. And I think the thing is as well, right? You know, you see on TikTok and you see this whole thing of like, oh my God, I'm so ADHD. Like, I bought this and things like this. And it's like, yes, to an extent. But also, when you have dedicated maybe like a month of your life to being obsessed with making sourdough bread, and you have bought everything that you need to make sourdough bread, and you do it once or twice, and then you decide, I don't want to make sourdough bread anymore.
But it's the guilt.
And it's like the guilt and the shame
when you've got
like,
this stuff in your flat as well, or you got
where
like
do
in
you
your house.
put it?
But then it's in your house and you see it and you're like, oh my God, I actually fully believed that it's a slow cooker. I bought it. I've used it once, but I fully believed I needed it.
But you know how angry it makes me? Because, right, if I start something, there's something in my brain. If I do something, I think I'm instantly going to be good at it. Like, I'm going to be an expert in it, obviously. But then when I start it and I'm not instantly an expert at it, I get immediately pissed off about it.
And they
that
don't
I'm not an expert, and then I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I am throwing all my toys out of the pram.
Yeah.
I did one snowboarding lesson when we were in West Virginia for 1 hour. For some reason, I thought I was going to be so sick at snowboarding. Like, I was thinking I'm going to be the next Shaun White, and I'm going to be doing like McFlips and all of this
Insert
shit.
picture of Megan on a snowboard here, please.
I did it for 1 hour, fell over, hit my head and cried, and then got so angry that I fell over that I refused to do snowboarding ever again. And I hate it with every bone in my body, to the point that my boyfriend Matt is now like, oh, me and my family, we want to do a skiing trip next year in March. Like, everyone's going. Obviously, I'm not going to not go because my rejection sensitivity dysphoria is so bad and my FOMO is so bad. But I must go on this skiing trip.
So basically you're saying that you're going to now start like snowboarding lessons or something?
Well, no, because I fucking hate snowboarding. So I'm going to have to try and learn how to ski, but I'm not going to be good at skiing. And I'm just really stressed about the situation. I think we should address some of the science behind ADHD and addiction. You know, obviously, we say it every single episode. ADHD is a dopamine problem, right? So we have a dysregulated reward system. Dopamine doesn't stick around for long. And so people with ADHD are far more likely to have problems with addiction because we are searching for dopamine, and majority, like I said it before, is self-medication, right? We are self-medicating for those who are not on medication. Not that I'm saying that medication is the answer, but for a lot of people who are unmedicated and an ADHD, they are searching for a way of self-medicating to unconsciously choose substances that regulate them, you know, whether it's the nicotine, it gives you focus, or caffeine, that gives you alertness, cocaine, which apparently calms ADHDs down, things like that. And I think if you're someone who has struggled with addiction in the past and you have ADHD, you know, for a lot of the time, sometimes you might start ADHD medication and it might feel like you're breathing for the first time, if that makes sense, because I feel like throughout my life, you know, trying different things, different self-medication avenues, medication was the first thing that actually calmed my brain down and made me feel like I was, I don't want to say normal. Normal's not the right way of saying it, but made me feel like life was manageable.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. But I also think it's really important to say that even with medication, and it also depends what medication you're on, because there's obviously so many different brands of medication, types of medication, they all work differently, and I'm still very early on in my journey, and I don't know if there might be another medication that I will go on that will work for me. But one of the things that I have definitely struggled with is alcohol, and even taking my medication doesn't make me less likely to want to drink alcohol. And I think it's kind of important to mention that and normalize that, because you could take medication and think, oh, I'm all, think, oh, I'm not going to be addicted. But actually, you will still have those.
It doesn't fix everything.
It doesn't fix everything. Yeah. And I think it definitely makes things more manageable. And that is absolutely the best way to put medication. It makes things seem more manageable, less overwhelming. But I think the thing is with medication is when it like obviously starts to what the word be?
Work?
Stop working?
Yeah.
There's a word for that. I have been so stupid.
Not being as effective.
When at the end of the day.
Yeah. Oh, when you crash from it.
That's the time. And I've heard other people who take ADHD medication say the same. It's like when you have that crash, that's when everything starts to like, you either binge eat, because binge eating's an addiction as well. They have that crash, and it's the same for me with alcohol. I have that crash in the evening, and I'm like, right, I need that dopamine again. So I think it's just important to normalize that, because some people might think, oh, well, now I'm taking medication and I feel the same, and
yeah,
I definitely do still have a problem with alcohol.
It's also important to know, right? Obviously, ADHD and addiction, there is a massive comorbidity there. They are completely linked, but they are still two separate things, right? So you can still have ADHD and still have an addiction problem. And yes, you might be on ADHD medication and it might feel like it, masks or makes it a little bit easier to deal with your addiction, but you still might have your addiction. Like, it's not a one size fits all. You might have an addiction because of your ADHD, but you also might have ADHD and an addiction, and therefore your ADHD medication is not going to cure your addiction. And what you need to do is address the issues of why you have that addiction in the first place. And yes, partly it might be because of your ADHD, but there also might be some other issues there that maybe you haven't addressed of what's causing the ADHD, like the addiction. Like for me, obviously, I don't feel the need to self-harm or have those thoughts anymore since I started medication, because I think medication doesn't make me feel as depressed as I used to be.
Yeah.
But it's not gone. It's not.
It's always there.
It's always part of me, and I think it's always going to be part of me. It's always going to be something that I struggle with.
Yeah.
But that is something that I personally need to work on how to
get every day,
get over and things like that, and address those issues. And medication is not going to be able to fix everything, because yes, it can address chemical imbalances in your brain, but it can't address psychological issues.
And an addiction is a disease, and I don't think that people actually realize that it's a biological change in your brain. It is literally classed as a disease. So, and that's completely different. So I think, medication can help, but if you truly have an addiction, I think it will be there, and it's just about, but I think the point is that the medication actually makes your life better. So what it means is that you might be less likely to reach for that chocolate bar in an evening or that glass of wine or whatever it might be, which probably leans quite nicely into our final section, which is helps, tips and strategies for addiction.
If you suspect ADHD is driving your addiction and you are not diagnosed, obviously I would recommend, I'm assuming you'd recommend as well, trying to get that diagnosis of ADHD. And I'm not saying a diagnosis of ADHD is going to fix your problems, but it might give you some answers, and it might help you understand yourself a little bit better and be able to understand why you do what you do. Because a lot of the time with addiction, it's more of understanding the pain behind the addiction. It's not of what you're doing, it's more of a why you're doing it. So I think if you have that ADHD diagnosis, you'll be able to understand yourself a bit better and be able to understand the why. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does absolutely make sense. And if you're trying to cut back on something, we've got a few things here, and I think we've got some things wrote down. And don't rely on willpower. Build friction. Okay, so a really good example of this. I've spoken about my Instagram addiction before. And again, doom scrolling is another addiction that we haven't mentioned, but it absolutely is.
Oh, doom scrolling.
It is a problem. And I've gone through periods where I know that I've been addicted to social media. And the best way for me to deal with that is to deactivate it. And to be honest, this is the first time where I've come back to Instagram after deactivating it. And I deactivated it for like 7 months. That I've come back and I'm like, oh my God, I actually have a really healthy relationship with Instagram again. I don't feel like I need to post everything. When I went on holiday, maybe, but like, I don't feel like I need to post all the time, or I'm not scrolling all the time, because you actually think it takes about 6 months to train your brain to not make something a habit. So yeah, I guess just actually remove the problem. And that's not always easy, because if it's wine, for example, and you can literally go on your phone and go on Deliveroo and order a wine. And I'm not saying it's the easiest thing, but actually just making it the least amount of friction. Yeah. So if it is apps, remove the apps. If it's every single time you go out with a particular group of friends, you drink more alcohol than you probably should be, maybe restrict your amount of times that you go out with those friends to once every other weekend.
If there's 2 different routes home and one route home has a vape shop on your way home, choose the other way home, because if you are walking home from work and you're feeling a bit stressed and you walk past the vape shop, of course you're going to go into the shop and buy a vape. Yeah. So just go the other way because it is just so much easier for you.
Just try to reduce the friction.
Exactly.
Basically.
Make it the most easiest path for you, possibly. I've got here, replace, don't remove, right? It is so easy to just say go cold turkey on everything. Everyone just says it. Just don't do it. An ADHD brain does not work like that. We need things to fill our dopamine. So what can you do that replaces a worse addiction with maybe a slightly better addiction? Because I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a perfect person and I have no addictions and any of this. We're all going to have addictions. We all need something that fills our dopamine, specifically people with ADHD. So what's a better dopamine hit than you can get what you're currently getting? If you are someone that is addicted to alcohol or addicted to a vape or drugs or anything like that, is there a better alternative?
Yeah.
I know obviously you spoke about exercise, and obviously exercise is not the right way forward for everyone, but for some people, you know, an exercise might be better than going and getting a bag of drugs or going to the pub and getting a drink or, you know, going for a cold plunge or going to a sauna or something like that. Is there a lesser evil? Is maybe the better question. Is that, you know, choosing the lesser of two evils. If you can buy a shop off of Amazon, or you can go to the pub and down 5 pints, what's a better option?
It's just that I think we're ADHD, we're just short term, aren't we? We don't really think of the long term when we're doing things. So it's that actually this feels really shit in the moment. I would rather have a wine than go and do a cold plunge, but actually in the long term, the cold plunge is going to make me feel better. In the short term, the wine's make me feel good, but I'm going to have a shit sleep.
Yeah.
And that's going to impact the rest of my week.
Exactly.
Shorten the dopamine loop. So plan small rewards throughout the day so your brain isn't starving by 8 p.m. Really good example of this is we have in the working day in the office, we have these like little breaks, which at first I didn't really understand. But now I literally wait for my 10:30 break and I go and get a matcha. And it's weird because if I didn't get my matcha at 10:30, I don't think I'd be motivated for the rest of the day, which is so stupid.
Something you look forward to.
But I really look forward to it. And now that's part of my routine.
It's like on a Friday, right? Obviously, this is really horrible to mention in a podcast episode about addiction, but a Friday, right?
I love coming in on a Friday and having a beer and
it's
on a lunchtime.
We go out at 1 p.m. and especially in summer, it's really nice now. We go out for lunch and it's like everyone goes out for lunch on a Friday and everyone just gets a pint or something like that. And it's not like it's going mad, but it's nice to have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a meeting at 11, but it's 12, but at least at once I'm going out. At 1, I'm going out for lunch. I'm going out for a pint,
and it doesn't have to be alcohol. It doesn't have to be matcha. Like, you can just do those little things throughout the day. Maybe it's you go out for a walk. Maybe you do a face mask.
Go to the gym.
Yeah, like whatever it is that is your moments throughout of the day that are your moments of dopamine that make it so that when it does get to 8 p.m. and you have that crash, you're like, I've had a really good day and I feel really fulfilled. And then you don't feel like you need to then go on and use something.
Exactly. Look, at the end of the day, we are all the main characters in our own story, right? And you might be sitting there and thinking, it's cringe going out for a matcha. Fucking romanticize your life.
Yeah,
like, who gives a shit? Like, go your 9 to 5, do things that make you happy. You're not going to be on your deathbed thinking like, I wish I didn't spend that much money on matcha when I was like in the office.
I'm so over that period of my life.
Do the things that make you happy. Romanticize your life. Be the main character.
Yeah.
Think about your life as if it's a rom-com, and Bridget Jones would not be sat there at a 9 to 5, sat there at a desk, not getting her matcha.
Absolutely
at 10:30.
not.
So, like, just do the things that make you happy. But just know when it's time to stop, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if it's becoming a thing where it's taking over your whole life, then maybe you should stop that. But if it's something that you're doing little things throughout the day to just get you through the day and it stops you from doing anything harder, if that's the right word.
Yeah, no, it is.
You know, then
there's little pick-me-ups.
It's a little pick-me-up. It's a little treat. I've got here, name the urge out loud. I think this is actually a really good thing because a lot of the time, I think when we do things, specific like for ADHD people, we do things unconsciously. So for me, I have bitten my nails for as long as I can remember. Literally, maybe as long as I've ever had nails, I have bitten my nails. And I'm not talking about chewing my nails a little bit. I'm talking about I have bitten my nails ruthlessly to the core, to the point that I'm in bed and my fingers are throbbing and they are bleeding and I've got no nail left because I am unconsciously biting them. But sometimes you need to take the unconscious into the conscious, if that makes sense. And that's more about being mindful about it. And I've done this so many times of being like, I'm going to stop biting my nails. I'm going to stop doing this. But I always forget about it and I always end up biting my nails again. But what's really helped me is trying to be more mindful. And I don't know if you can see my nails.
I actually, when Megan joined work, she was showing me her nails and I was like, okay, we're going to go on a nail journey. And I've got a picture of Megan's nails when she first joined.
Oh, insert a picture.
You do actually need to. I'm going to do the before and after. Yeah. And your nails were like so short. And I was like, you were like, oh, what do you do with your nails? Like, oh, I'll get biab. And you started getting biab and they're looking amazing. And I'm so proud of her.
Thank you. I'm very proud of myself.
Very proud of her nails.
But yeah, now my nails are long. I'm getting biab, which helps them grow. And stops me from biting them, but it is the naming it out loud, right? So sat there and I would bite my nails while I'm watching TV because I'm understimulated, because I'm bored, and I would do it unconsciously. And I think it's just more about being more mindful and speaking your truth of why you're doing it. So it's like, I'm opening Vinted at a certain time because I just need a dopamine hit, because I'm bored, because I need to buy something, because I need to do this. And it's like, if you are able just to name it and say it out loud, you are able to understand those triggers and that pattern. And it kind of stops it, because as soon as you start doing it and you're like, I'm just doing this because I'm bored, you're like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Again.
And then you don't do it because you have actually stops that pattern. Yep. And it's like the same for me as my nails. It's like I'd be biting it and I'd be doing it unconsciously. But as soon as I could sit there and go, oh, I'm doing this because I'm bored, and then realise I'm doing it, I'd stop it.
Yeah. That was like me with Instagram. Like when I actually stopped using Instagram and then I started again, I got more aware of when I was on it and I was like, wait, what am I actually doing? And then I kind of go off it. What do you think are some of the daily regulators that actually help ADHD brains rather than choosing addiction?
You know, it's self-care and it's self-care. People talk about self-care on TikTok like it's face masks and things like that. It's like self-care is not actually always fun. It's like brushing your teeth. No one likes brushing their teeth. I mean, some people might. I don't like brushing my teeth, but I do it every single day because I know
that I have to.
That I have to do it to look after myself. And so it's being able to get those things in place that you know that you should do. It's not always easy, but you do it because it helps you become a better person.
We've got a list here, Megan. But I actually think we just do. What is our regulator? What actually regulates you? Truthfully, because we've got this list here and it's like, it's all well and good reading this
morning
list
protein
out.
Before caffeine.
Yeah, we've got this
sunlight.
list here and it's like, it's, you know, it's great and it's worth knowing about these things. But actually, what do we do as two girls with ADHD? What is our thing that regulates us?
A cup of tea in the morning, and that's the most. Yeah, that is the most British thing ever.
But it's true.
But genuinely, every single morning, the thing that I look forward to is just having my cup of tea. And sometimes it's my walk to work in the morning. Sometimes it's like if I'm working from home, just like sitting outside in the sunshine, if it's summer, and getting a bit of that fresh air. But genuinely, it's that routine of the morning of getting up, making a cup of tea, and being able to just breathe while sipping on a cup of tea. And it's like, it sounds very silly, but yeah, that's my thing that regulates me every single morning, is just having a cup of tea and being able to sit there without scrolling on my phone and things like that, and just being able to enjoy and just be.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say that it used to be my morning coffee, but honestly, it is probably exercise, which is probably one of the more cliche things. But yeah, exercise definitely regulates me.
It's the whole ritual of it. It's not even the drink itself. It's the
mug you have,
the process. And I don't know what it is. It's like, you know, like when you see in the films where it's like a white woman with a cardigan on and she's like holding a mug with both hands.
They always look so cute.
And she's like snuggling up her cardigan like this, and she's sat on a balcony and she's like
that is something that I romanticize, is a cup of tea, and then I drink it and I'm like, I don't really like tea, but it's
both hands on it with the cardigan and just the sipping of it. That's how I romanticize my life.
Anyway,
I also think another good regulator that I've got written down here, obviously this is on a very generic list of things, but you know, like limiting your decisions. I think when I was younger, I used to think so much about what I was wearing every single day, and like how I was going to look and what my lunch was going to be, and like pre-packing my bag before I went to work. I just get rid of that. Get rid of it. Like, I just wear a t-shirt and jeans if you can. Obviously, not everyone is in the position where they can. But like, I actually sometimes miss the days of being in school and having to wear a school uniform.
Same thing every day,
because I'd have to just wear the same thing every day, and I don't have that crippling process of having to decide what to wear. So just get rid of those crippling things.
Yeah,
I've never sat in the office and looked at someone and thought, you wear that outfit a couple of days ago. I've never thought that. No one is thinking about that about you. So
it's funny because I'm going to Morocco in a few days. I'm going tomorrow. And packing. Well, that's a whole thing for me, and that's a whole ADHD topic. But Jesus, I hate it. And you know, every single time I hate packing, and I don't know what to wear, and I wear the same thing constantly when I'm away. I find my like comfort outfit and then I wear it over and over and over again. I find my bikini that makes me feel nice, and then I'm stressed about this whole packing experience, and I wear the same thing, and it's true.
But what's
you
wrong with that?
overcomplicate it. Yeah, you overcomplicate it though. It's like, actually, realistically, I could probably put like 4 things in my suitcase and get there and I'd be happy. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. No one cares.
No.
And I think that's the thing of just do what is good for you.
Yeah.
And so I think now we are coming to the end of the episode. And obviously we would love to hear what everyone else is.
What's your addiction, not addiction?
Addiction, non-addiction. Tell us all. Make us feel a little bit less alone. If you're really into power tools and DIY, tell me. Yeah, I'm all over that at the moment. But yeah, just make sure that you know you're not alone.
Yeah,
we see you. A lot of people who also listen to this podcast and are part of the community, they see you as well. And if you do need support, please seek that support.
Yeah. Anyway, we hope you've enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next week for the next one.
Hopefully we're out of our PMS now, so no more breaks from us.